I think they got there as quickly as they could possibly get there. And, the brave officers of, Las Vegas Metro and the Sheriff's Department out there, do what police do every day. They run into gunfire to protect people. And, fortunately they mitigated this, so this guy could have been shooting again.
Every one of these episodes has a different theme when it comes to security, impact, and consequences. It was schools at one point. It's been movie theaters. Today, it's largely going to be about hotels. How does hotel security need to change, I guess? And is it possible to prevent someone from taking aim at a crowd from a high vantage point?
It's not just hotel security. Let me preface what I'm about to say so that the civil libertarians understand what I'm saying. I believe the number one civil right is to be free from harm. And in order to do that in a civilized society, we need to maybe give up a little bit of our privacy. I understand that this individual has posted things on social media. We don't know where he purchased the gun, but he probably purchased it legally in Nevada or wherever he purchased it. And we need to do a number of things. The police need to do more mining with intelligence analysts of social media. And we need to make people responsible for the weapons they own. I'm not saying that we should do away with Second Amendment rights. What I'm saying is, for instance, we should have a required safety check every year of somebody who purchases a gun where they bring in their weapon. There should be a database for police departments and federal agencies of people who have been sex offenders, mentally disturbed, where before you can get a gun, these people have to be cleared in order to possess it. I know the NRA is going to be against that, but until we start doing sane things about weapons possession, this is going to happen, unfortunately, again.
That's going to be a challenge, given the varying degrees of severity of gun laws in this country by state, right? I mean, Nevada's, as I understand it, is a relatively liberal state when it comes to the ability to buy high-powered weapons.
Yes, you can buy 100 weapons at a time if you want, and that's insane. I happen to be calling you from Ireland, and, over here they think we are all nuts when it comes to the proliferation of weapons. There are more weapons in the United States than there are people. And almost 99.9% of the weapons that are used in these shootings are legally obtained. So we need to put some regulation on who can buy a gun and how you can possess it and what your responsibility is. We require that when you drive an automobile, you have insurance in case you hurt somebody. There should be insurance required for possession of a weapon and for keeping a weapon, because what happens all the time is these individuals say their weapons were stolen, their weapons were lost, and they get into the hands of individuals like this one, and we have these tragedies.
There's been some statistics out this morning. 10 years ago, the deadliest mass shootings in the history of the country had fatalities of 16, 21, and 23. Now, a decade later, the deadliest mass shootings have fatalities of 32, 49, and now this one at 50. And hopefully the number stays, it does not go any higher. What does that say about the evolution of weapons and the evolution of the availability of weapons?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Mr. Safir, can you still hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes. Did you get my last question?
No, I missed it. Go ahead.
It was a point about the deadliest mass shootings a decade ago had fatalities of anywhere from 16 to 23. Now the deadliest mass shootings, the top three, have fatalities of 32 to 50. And now my question was, what does that say about the evolution of weapons in this country?
Well, it basically says we should have an assault weapon ban, and we should not let people have an automatic weapon. The technology, when you think about this incident where an individual is 32 stories up on a balcony shooting down at 40,000 people, he doesn't have to take aim. With the number of rounds that come out at sometimes 100 rounds per second, we're talking about an incredibly ridiculous way for us to let people have weapons.
Well, Mr. Safir, Jim Cramer, always good to have you. I understand what you were saying, but I kind of contrast that with what you said about Ireland. They may think that we're nuts, but is there really any chance that anything changes here? The Second Amendment is being used to be able to justify guns, and the Supreme Court agrees with that. And I don't know why this changes anything.
But the Supreme Court does agree with it, and I'm not suggesting that people not have weapons. What I'm suggesting is that we identify those who should not have weapons by using technology and by using good investigations, and that when somebody possesses a weapon, they have to have some responsibility. Right now, you need no license to have a weapon. You don't have to report it until you care to if it's lost or stolen or sold illegally. And we need to have some regulations, not that prevent people from having weapons, especially I support weapons for sporting uses, but we need to have regulations that make you responsible, and if your weapon is gone, you're going to have to explain to the authorities what happened to it. If you're mentally being treated for mental illness, or you're a drug addict, or you're on a sex offender list, we should absolutely have a requirement that people get that checked out before they get weapons.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.